Our next guest and keynote speaker, Donou, has a very strong motto: choose your path, or others may choose it for you. And as von Rundstedt's regional director with a background in talent management and the retail banking industry, Anne is uniquely placed to tell us more about the future skills. Please welcome Anne Donou.
Good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here today to talk about future skills, because future skills for me, for us at von Rundstedt, are definitely not technical or technology skills. So this is what I want to introduce. I'm the regional director of the French-speaking part of von Rundstedt. We are a career consulting and employability expert company, and we operate in major fields. One is external mobility without placement, and the other one is internal mobility with the topic of employability in companies. When I prepared this conference, I asked 3 people in my team the other day, can you pick from our competency framework some future skills of mine? So they picked the one you see, which is full picture, quick grasp, relationship management, and resilience. When I took the test 2 months earlier, actually I asked other people of my team to be my stakeholder in this test that we developed, and I will show you later. And actually they picked different skills. So the topic with future skills and soft skills is that it also depends who do you ask to, and it also depends on the context. What I want to say here is that there's no digital competency framework in itself that will really validate one of your competence. It's the challenge of human beings, it's the discussion with a human being that can really help you to continue to be self-aware, to develop, and to be stronger with those skills. So let's move into the agenda. I will give you a very short background on how did we achieve to build this competency framework, the importance of being self-aware, the future skills and the competency framework in itself, and then how can you develop those skills? Because, for example, courage, you are not going to develop courage by just attending a course. So this is the example I would like to share. We are going to move from Industry 4.0 to Industry 5.0. The difference is that Industry 4.0 is really implementing the digital transformation. Industry 5.0 is going to be the union of the human being and the machine. And I would like to take an example to really illustrate why those skills are so critical. I would like to take the example of IKEA. A few years ago, IKEA decided that they wanted to go through this transformation, and they wanted to work around 3 main areas. How to become more accessible. Why? Because they have traditional remote out-of-town stores. How can they continue to be affordable, serving their wide base of customers from India to China to Germany? And how can they become planet positive? If we look at what IKEA became today, they moved from huge physical stores to online, and they went online long ago. And not only with e-commerce, but they have a gift registry app. They have an app to create a wedding list because they know that this is one of the things their target client could look for. They have a planning tool. They have a customer service team, which is free. They have augmented reality app, which has been existing long ago. They have a click picture app for clients to contribute to arts exhibits. They have an online catalog which is directly connected to their inventory stores and to the inventory management system of the company. They have Instagram feed with some really awesome design ideas, and so on and so on. And to achieve this vision, actually, what they had to change dramatically in the company is the way inventory flows. It need to be different. The speed and the agility to provide products to customers, merchandising had to be different. The skills of people then for achieving this had to be also different. They had to break silos in the company because they had to put people working in team to be able to achieve that vision and to be able to implement. They had to have a lot of communication. They had to have huge human interactions all together. They empowered the first team during COVID, and they decided to first empower the team and to then write the governance, because the situation and the pandemic did need to continue and to be able to face the situation and continue with the change. All this is actually not technology skills and not technical skills, but these are really soft skills and human skills. That's the reason why they are so critical. If we look at industries 1.0, 2.0, we will jump into 5.0, and we will continue with 6 and 7 and 9 and 8. And it's always the same topic. It's a question of employability. So 4.0 was about technology. 5.0 will be about human skills. How can we add value to the digital and to the technology? I want to give you an example in terms of position, for example. If you take an accountant who has the task with account payable and account receivable, they will no longer have this task in the future. Does it mean that we don't need accountants anymore? No, we will need them. But we are going to expect them to bring a different value, to understand what are the solutions to the problems of the company, to be able to understand and to have the full picture, for example, of a small company, to really generate ideas to save cost or generate more revenue. So that means the skill set of an accountant has to change dramatically if he wants to continue in this field. So quick grasp, analytical skills, learning agility, sorry for that, creativity, entrepreneurship, networking are key digital skills for the future. This is the competency framework we have developed. I don't know if you can read it, but the main categories: problem solving, learning agility, digital literacy, ecosystem management, and enterprising mindset, we achieved to bring them, and we use different competency model. We checked at the EU DigiComp, we checked at the World Economic Forum competency, we checked the literacy, we also discussed with our customers based on their needs, and we achieved to build this one. And I want to give you a very concrete example of someone we know who lost his job because he was not having one of those competencies. So he was the head of digital transformation of a huge Swiss-based multinational company. He was a rock star. And the company started to go through this transformation. And he was doing well. And the transformation he was leading was getting to the end, so he was going to promote a new project and offer a new idea, a new direction where the company could go. And actually, the CEO told him, I don't need you anymore because I have another idea. And he shared the idea. And the head of digital transformation asked him, but what happened? I didn't do anything wrong. What happened is that when he was not promoting his project enough within the company, did not do his networking, did not create relationship with other people, so he was the only one to push his new project to the CEO. When someone else who wanted to have the job as well was able to influence people in South Africa, in South America, in Asia. That means whenever the CEO was traveling all around the planet, he was hearing the project of the second person and not the project of the rock star. And he lost his job for that because the CEO heard so many times talking about this project that he thought he should go in this direction. So networking, ecosystem management is key, critical today, and will be critical tomorrow. So now, how can you develop those skills? Well, you need to have a process, and it's key. It sounds obvious when we want to develop a technical competence, a hard skills, that we need to go to a training course, and then we need to gain experience, and then we will develop, and then one day maybe we will be a master in this competence. And for soft skills, well, we just need to do the same. Increase the knowledge about the skill, define a process, gain experience, and one day become a master in this. You can attend a data course, data analysis course. It doesn't mean that you know how to do it. It doesn't mean how you can interact. It doesn't mean how much value you can bring. But you're going to get a certificate from Harvard or from Coursera or anywhere. You are not going to get a certificate for your courage. But when you go and when you want to hire people, you want to hire people who have courage. When you go to a company and get an interview, you have to demonstrate that you have courage, that you can take risk, that you can speak up, that you can challenge decisions. So how can you do this? How can you develop it if you don't have it? This is one idea and the process we have put in place. The first thing is that you need to become aware. When I was thinking about this conference and I asked my daughter, she's 15 years old, and I love having discussions with her. And I asked her, how would you do this, develop your courage? And she told me, you know, Mom, it's super easy. If you don't have courage, it means that there's something that you're doing, you don't have pleasure when you do it. And if you don't have pleasure when you do something, it means that you have a fear. So first you need to overcome your fear. And then she took the example and she said, like parachute, for example. If I'm scared to death to do a parachute jump, what I could do is go once per week until it becomes a pleasure. Because the moment it will become a pleasure, it will no longer require courage. So the first thing is awareness. What is it? What is the fear? The second step is getting insights. Because maybe you need to hear from others, where do they see your lack of courage? And for one person to another person, it can be completely different. So getting insight. And then deep diving. Why should I need courage in my job? Why would I need courage in my industry? And what would I need it also in my whole environment and in my function? What is my company expecting from me in my function tomorrow? And the last step is developing an action plan. Because again, with only knowledge and awareness, it can't work. So I will deep dive into this courage and initiative. So then when I was discussing with Peter, who is one of my colleagues, just before coming to the conference, and I mentioned to him the story of my daughter with the parachute. And Peter told me, actually, you know, Anne, it requires enormous courage to jump with a parachute. And he told me, I decided to do it once. And I wanted to do alone, not together in tandem with the instructor, because this needs less courage. So I decided to do it alone. And I went in the plane. And he told me, you know, when the door opens, if you put in a car, open the door, open the window, and put your arm, it's going to do this. Can you imagine in a plane what it's going to do? It pushes you back at the end of the plane. And he said to me, you need so much courage and strength and fight to come back to the door, pull, and you need to jump. You cannot only fall down, you need to jump, which also requires higher degree of courage. So this is the first thing, awareness. What does it mean for me? What is my fear? There are a lot of definitions of courage. I love philosophy, so there's one from Aristotle who says that it's excellence, which is halfway from cowardice and rashness that you gain from practice and from developing habits. So that means discipline, action plan. So I'm going to show you the concrete examples with courage. So first, you need to identify, as I said, your fears. Then you need to understand, okay, what kind of process am I going to put on this? What kind of discipline do I want? And I should write it down and stick to it. And then think about the different actions. And then continue to ask questions. So being challenged, understand my future, understand my work, my environment, my company, my industry, other industries. Where could I link and jump? And if I take an example of action plan that could be developed, for example, for courage, a first step could be go to a Coursera course. One is called Practicing Courage. So that could help to raise the awareness. A second one could be via reading a book. There's a super cool book written by Sun Tzu, which is called The Art of War, where he is really expressing and mentioning what is courage. But this is, again, knowledge. A third step that you could do is actually use your private environment to develop it. Because the difference between soft skills and hard skills is that you can also use your private environment to develop them. So use the private environment. So, for example, for me, to develop my courage to speak up, reason why I'm here today, I had to face a fear. And I think we all had to face a fear once when we had to first speak. What I did many years ago, I went to a nonviolent communication seminar. And I realized that this helped me so much to really identify what is my fear, what is my need, how can I overpass it, and how can I put an action to really feel good then about something. So that could be an option. It could be also participating to an association and being able to speak up. For people who don't take risk, if risk is related to courage, it could be engaging in mini ventures, for example, and investing a bit in a company and participate to the development of that company. So the private environment is a super field to start to develop because you can do this in a very protected way. Then when you're ready, you can start to develop it in your company. So could be participating to transversal projects where, for example, you are not going to be evaluated, your bonus will not be related to this project, you can fail, because courage is also sometimes opposite to failure. And by developing this in semi-protected environment, you continue to gain experience and so on and so on. So a book is not enough, a course is not enough. To develop soft skills, we need practice. And we need practice between human beings, and we need practice in companies. And I hear so many companies at the moment who are struggling to get people back into their offices. If people could understand that they will not develop those skills at home, behind a computer, that would be a learning for them, because it's going to be critical in the future. Thank you.